The most unusual and maybe even ironic thing about growing older is how you start to intuitively understand things, even the ones that once seemed complicated. You won't always need someone to explain them to you. You'll just know. Why? Because deep down, you already have everything you need. The problem isn't that you don't know enough. It's that you don't always trust yourself to use what you already have. Sometimes you've understood a concept all along. You just didn't know what it was called. This isn't magic. It's not luck. It's you. It's the result of every experience you've lived, every pattern you've noticed, and every lesson you've learned. Even the ones you didn't realize you were learning. Daniel Kahneman, in his book Thinking Fast and Slow, describes this as the fast, intuitive part of your brain. The part that recognizes faces, solves problems, and makes decisions before you're even aware of the process. It's shaped by your experiences, your culture, and your unique perspective on the world. And while it's not perfect, it's far more powerful than you give it credit for. Let me say that again. You are far more smart than you give yourself credit for. We often describe intuition as a gut feeling, but it's so much more than that. It's your brain's way of saying, I've got this. It's a superpower, a tool that allows you to make decisions beyond conscious analysis. Psychologist Gerd Giedrinzer calls it the adaptive toolbox, a set of mental shortcuts that help you navigate life's complexities with speed and precision. And while intuition isn't flawless, it's often astonishingly reliable because it's built on the foundation of your experiences, your struggles, and your triumphs. So why do we still hesitate? Why do we doubt ourselves, even when we know deep down that we're capable? Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of looking foolish. Fear of not being enough. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every mistake is a lesson. Every stumble is a step forward. And every time you try, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger, smarter, and more resilient than you thought. Let me tell you something you need to hear right now. You are smart enough. You don't need to be any more than you are. You don't need to know everything before you begin. You just need to take the first step. Because the moment you do, you'll start to see, understand, and grow in ways you never imagined. Still think you're not smart? Let me show you how powerful you already are. Much of what you know isn't just personal, it's social. It's shaped by your environment, something sociologist Pierre Bourdieu calls habitus. This is why you instinctively know how to act in certain situations or recognize cultural references without being explicitly taught. A perfect example of this played out during the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Before the massive waves hit, indigenous communities and even animals instinctively moved to higher ground, despite having no formal warning system. The Moken people of Thailand, for example, had no modern tsunami training, but their oral traditions helped them recognize unusual ocean behavior. This kind of knowledge isn't always easy to put into words because language itself has limits. Have you ever struggled to describe a feeling or a concept that seems obvious in your head? That's not a failure of intelligence. It's a limitation of language. And it's proof that your understanding goes deeper than words can express. I once failed spectacularly at explaining social constructivism in relation to linguistic relativity. At the time, it made me feel like I wasn't smart enough. But looking back, I realized that failure made me curious. And curiosity is the real key to intelligence. It's the spark that drives us to learn, to grow, and to discover just how much we're capable of. Over time, your understanding deepens because your brain is constantly rewiring itself. This process, called neuroplasticity, allows you to form new connections and strengthen old ones. The more you learn, the easier complex ideas become. That's why things that once seemed hard, like riding a bike or solving a tricky problem, eventually feel effortless. But here's the catch. Learning doesn't happen by waiting until you know enough. Mastery comes from deliberate practice, pushing through mistakes and learning as you go. If you hesitate to start because you don't feel ready, you're holding yourself back from the very experiences that will help you grow. Yes, beginners tend to overestimate their abilities, while experts often underestimate theirs. But if you ever feel like you don't know enough, that's actually a good sign. It means you're moving past beginner skepticism and into real learning. And most of the time, you'll find that you already have the right ideas. You just needed to start to validate the smart concepts you already carry inside you. You are more capable than you've ever imagined. In the end, intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing how to use what you already have. It's about trusting your intuition, learning from mistakes, and staying curious. As Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. But here's the twist. When you admit you know nothing, you realize you already knew more than you thought. Your potential was always there, just waiting to be unlocked. Everything you need to grow is already inside you. So if you're hesitating, wondering if you're ready, let me tell you this. You are ready. You are smart, and you are capable of more than you know. Take the first step. Trust yourself, and watch as the world unfolds in ways you never imagined. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing.